You don't need a professional camera to produce good Instagram content. In this video, we'll show you how to compose a great Instagram photo with your smartphone. Start by exploring your phone's camera functions. While Instagram has a built-in camera, your phone's camera likely has many more useful tools. For example, turning HDR on in your camera settings will capture more detail in the bright and dark areas of your photo. Consider using HDR instead of the flash, which can cause overly contrasted lighting. While Instagram's onboard camera only lets you take one shot at a time, your phone's camera allows multiple shots, which you can sort through to find the best image. While Instagram has a hard limit for the amount of pixels, you may notice that the quality still appears crisper when you use a high-resolution photo. Adjust your camera's resolution in the settings. You can take your photo in portrait, landscape, or square. It's best practice to take the photo as you intend to use it, so you can compose it properly. So if you post photos as squares, try to compose them with that in mind. Portrait takes up more space in the Instagram feed, so it can have more impact. However, it may get cropped by Instagram when editing. So take the portrait photo in a way that allows for slight cropping at the top or bottom. Now that you know more about your camera's features, let's talk about the best conditions for using them. The best photo taking conditions are in natural light, so use it whenever possible. Aim to take your photo with the sun behind the camera regardless of the time of day. Mornings work well, as does late afternoon and shortly before sunset when light is softer. If lighting conditions aren't optimal, adjust the exposure by tapping on your subject and adjusting the slider. This is especially handy for midday and low light conditions. Keep in mind, it's easier to fix an underexposed photo than an overexposed one, so it's better to err on the side of less light. With these conditions in mind, let's look at some techniques to use when composing your shot. The rule of thirds involves balancing the elements of your photo along 3 sections. Turn the grid lines on in your settings to make balance and alignment more precise. Notice how the water, rocks, and the house make up the first section. The lighthouse and trees are in the second section, and the mountains and sky in the third. This composition brings all the elements of the photo together in a balanced way, making it easier for the viewer to enjoy. If the rule of thirds doesn't apply to a particular photo, think about symmetry instead. A symmetrical photo divides the image in 2. When a photo has vertical symmetry, you could draw an imaginary line down the center of it and each side would appear symmetrical. Horizontal symmetry has the same effect but with a horizontal line. Grid lines are also helpful here. Use them to align the edges or to straighten a horizon. Changing the angle of your photo can also have an interesting effect. Experiment by taking your photo from different angles to get a fresh viewpoint. Then select the photo that shows your subject in the best light. Another technique that can add visual interest is detail and depth. Detail shots focus on a small element of a larger subject. For example, the first photo provides a big picture view of the tree. In the second photo, the flowers on the tree are the main focus. It can be tempting to zoom in to capture the detail, but this will reduce the resolution. Instead, move closer to the subject and use selective focus to guide your viewer's eye to it. When you're happy with your image, tap to take the photo. The out-of-focus branches and flowers in the background form a natural frame around the flowers in the foreground. This gives the photo depth of field by creating a more 3-dimensional scene. Another interesting way to add depth to a photo is with leading lines. Leading lines, like roads, buildings, or bridges, create a pathway for the viewer's eyes, leading them to a single spot. When composing your shot, don't forget to tap to focus your shot.